In a virtual classroom, how can we really tell the difference between a student who's just there and one who's actually making progress? It's a huge question for online education, maybe the question. Today, we're going to dig into this hidden accountability problem that's a real challenge for online schools and explore a data-driven solution that just might fix it.
So here's our game plan. First, we'll break down that core problem, presence versus actual progress. Then we'll look at how students can so easily fall through the digital cracks. After that, we'll jump into a potential fix called the VALA NC solution, see how it works in the real world, and finally, kind of zoom out and rethink what accountability in online learning should even mean.
All right, let's get right to the heart of it. In an online school, does just showing up, being present, mean you're making progress? The short answer, absolutely not. And that simple fact is where all the trouble really begins. I mean, this is the question, isn't it? Really think about it. Does seeing that a student is logged in tell you if they understood today's lesson? Can we be sure they aren't totally lost or stuck on a problem, or maybe just completely zoned out, just off camera?
And this is that classic iceberg problem. The research here shows that so many online schools are only looking at the very tip of the iceberg. Easy to track things like login times or if an assignment was turned in. But the real story, the struggle happening below the surface, goes completely unseen until it's way, way too late.
So when you only rely on that surface-level data, it's pretty much inevitable that students are going to fall through the cracks. Let's take a look at 3 really common challenges that come from this flawed way of doing things. Okay, first up, feedback. As you can see, the typical approach is often just automated, maybe really brief, or it comes so late that it's not even helpful anymore. And the result? Well, students are basically left guessing. They have no clear roadmap on how to actually get better.
And that leads right into the next problem, timing. The common approach is to be reactive. You wait for a big red flag, like a failing grade. But think about it. By the time that grade shows up, that student is probably already way behind, frustrated, and totally checked out. The help just comes too late.
And finally, there's the data itself. Schools collect mountains of this stuff, right? But what often happens is teachers are just handed these super complex dashboards with little to no training. So all those little insights that could pinpoint a struggling student, they just get lost in the noise. The data's there, but nobody's really using it.
Okay, so we've laid out the problems pretty clearly. Now let's pivot and talk about a proactive solution that was designed to fix these exact issues. It's called the VALA NC model, and it's a completely different way of thinking.
So what is the VALA NC model really? It's not just another piece of software. It's a whole new philosophy. It's a system that weaves constant monitoring and support right into the fabric of daily teaching. It's about shifting from just passively watching to actively helping based on real evidence. Now that all sounds great in theory, but how does it actually work in practice? This is where we get to see that philosophy get translated into real, data-driven action that helps kids.
The whole model is really just a simple, powerful loop. It all starts with frequent, small check-ins on progress. If a student's progress dips even a little, an early warning is triggered. That immediately kicks off targeted support for that student. And then you keep monitoring to see if it's working. It's a constant cycle. Check, respond, support, and check again.
And this chart just makes the difference so clear. The old way, you've got occasional big tests, support that only kicks in after a student fails, and data that's mostly for filling out reports. The VALA NC way is all about frequent checks, proactive support at the very first sign of a struggle, and using data as a daily tool for teachers to make better decisions.
So what does this targeted intervention actually look like? Well, it's not some one-size-fits-all thing. It could be pulling a few kids into a small group session. It might be some one-on-one tutoring, or it could be a completely personalized support plan. The whole point is that the support is tailored to the specific need the data pointed out.
All of this really points to a much bigger idea. This isn't just about adopting new practices, it's about fundamentally changing the entire culture of accountability into one where everyone shares the responsibility. And this quote from the source material just captures the goal perfectly. The aim is to create a strong culture of shared responsibility. It describes a system where everyone, teachers, school leaders, families, are all working together, using clear, transparent data to keep every single student on the right track.
So when you boil it all down, the ultimate goal is a complete transformation. It's about taking data out of some dusty virtual filing cabinet and turning it into a living, breathing tool that actively helps students grow, stay on track, and ultimately to succeed.
And that really leaves us with a powerful question to chew on.
What could the future of online learning actually look like if we finally started measuring what truly matters, real progress, not just digital presence?